All right, today we're going to talk about 3 amazing books that will help you become a better storyteller. Hi, my name is Andrea Reindl. I am a brand strategist and the founder of Legacy Creative. Today I'm going to share with you 3 of my favorite books that have helped my team and I become better branders and better storytellers. They're 3 really different books. They have different ways of being great storytellers, and I'm going to walk you through them one by one. All right, the first book I'm going to tell you about is called Making Comics. It's The Art of Storytelling Through Comics by Scott McCloud. He actually has 3 books. I recommend all 3 of them. The one that I like the best is Making Comics because it has something in it that's really super useful for storytelling. He's got this comic book breakdown of human emotions that basically walk you through like what happens when you put different emotions together through people's facial expressions. In the art of comic books, they have to be able to show facial expressions and show emotion by just how the comic's faces look like. One of my favorite parts of this book is that Scott shows you through comics how to start looking at human emotion. If you want to be a good storyteller, or you want to be a good brander, or frankly, if you just want to be a good business owner, you need to be able to know how to evoke human emotion. So he breaks human emotion down through comic books. He's got one page in the book where when you go through it, he basically shows you different levels of emotion. So what's the difference between just contentment and joy and full-on belly laughing? Those are 3 similar but very different emotions and how you would show them, which you can use in your branding and your storytelling. In another part of his book, he's got this great little comic parts where he puts 2 emotions together to create a 3rd emotion. So let me give you an example of that. What happens when you put disgust with surprise? You're like, you ate that? Yuck, you ate bugs? Probably something from The Amazing Race would give you that look. So how do you put 2 or 3 emotions together and get a different emotion? The next book I'm going to talk about is totally different than the comic book. It's called The Gift by Edith Eger. 12 Lessons to Save Your Life. Edith Eger is a Holocaust survivor turned therapist who is one of my newfound heroes. I love her books. She's got a couple of them. I've read them all. She is amazing. What I love about this particular book and how she puts branding and storytelling together is that the book starts with 12 keys to save your life, 12 lessons to save your life. And then she goes on to frame the book using her very personal story of being a Auschwitz prisoner and then eventually becoming free. And when I'm filming this video, she is still alive. So she's somebody who can use her own personal story of being put in a prison and how even after she was out of Auschwitz, she still lived in the mental prisons of her own mind. And these are the 12 keys that she used to unlock her mental state to become mentally empowered. It's an awesome example of how to take branding, your personal story, and weave it into something that really makes sense to the reader. So some of her keys include what to do now, how to get out of the prison of victimhood, or how to get out of the prison of guilt and shame. And she then goes through in that chapter talking about how to get out of that prison that we put ourselves in, frankly, through our mental states and our own mindset. It's an amazing book. She does a great job of tying together storytelling, making a point, and putting her life's work and her body of work into a book that really you just want to fall in love with her. Okay, the final book I'm going to share with you today is Greenlights by Matthew McConaughey. It's his biography. It's an autobiography. I think he wrote it himself during COVID. It's one of my favorite books that is so well branded, and here's why. In this book, Matthew McConaughey basically tells us his life story, but he frames it around the parts and the stories and the places in his life where he felt green lights, something we can all connect with, something we can all relate to, because green lights means go. It's like, hey, this is where I want to go. This is what I want to be doing. So Matthew McConaughey ties his book together really well with Greenlights by saying, when this story happened, my intuition woke up and said, whoa, green light, do more of that. And when he tells a story about something where it didn't go so well, he's like, red light, don't do more of that. One of the things he does really well in this book is he tells colorful stories with lots of like rich examples where he's walking through the story. You basically feel like you're there with him. Everything from his adventures to his time on movie sets to some of the mentors that he had. He tells his whole story with this thing of something happened and then green light, or something happened and Red Light. It's amazing. I listened to the book because, well, it's Matthew McConaughey and he has a great voice, and he does an even better job of narrating it, where you just fall in love with his stories because he's such a great storyteller. Another super cool thing Matthew McConaughey and his publisher did with his book is that the jacket on the hardcover is a little bit smaller than the book itself. So when you look at it on a bookstore shelf, it stands out because it looks a little bit different with the jacket being smaller than the book. I think it's a really well done book that can be lots of inspiration for somebody who wants to be a great storyteller. Maybe you want to build your brand, or you want to put your body of work together in a way that makes sense for the reader. Those are 3 of my favorite books for storytelling. I would love to know what you've read that are storytelling books that we should be reading or I should be reading to learn and grow more. Share in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.